you, Admiral. I have a question about North Korea. There's many reports out there about the speculation of them being behind cyber attacks here in the United States. I was just curious from a military perspective what the U.S. military understanding is of North Korea's cyber capabilities, and are they a cyber threat from a military perspective?
Well, without speaking to anything specific with regard to Sony Pictures, as you know, we take cyber threats very, very seriously. Cyber threats come from any number of state and non-state actors. I won't get into, a laundry list here today, but this is something the Secretary takes very seriously. It's why he has devoted so much of his energy to the cyber domain. It's something we're constantly mindful of. But I don't, it's also a domain where, you have to be very circumspect about the degree to which, the specificity to which you talk about both the threats, the challenges, and of course, whatever responses are available to you. But more broadly speaking, the Defense Department is certainly on a routine basis, again, separate and distinct from the Sony Pictures issue. We are on a routine basis, part and parcel of the interagency, a broad U.S. government approach to threats in the cyber domain.
Can I follow on that? Has the U.S. Cyber Command been tasked at all with assisting the FBI or any part of the government in its investigation into the Sony hack?
This is an FBI investigation. I'm not aware of any particular assistance rendered by DOD. That said, we have been part of the interagency discussions about this incident. Jen?
Just to follow on to North Korea, the FBI is blaming North Korea for the attack and says it has evidence. At what point is it an act of war, and at what point does U.S. Cyber Command react?
First of all, I know of no official determination about that's been made about the source of the attacks on Sony Pictures. So I'm not in a position to speculate one way or the other. It's an ongoing investigation, and I wouldn't get ahead of the FBI on that. As I said, we're part of the interagency discussion about the incident and about options that may be available. I'm also, not able to lay out in any specificity for you what would be or wouldn't be an act of war in the cyber domain. It's not like there's a demarcation line that exists in some sort of fixed space on what is or isn't. The cyber domain remains challenging. It remains very fluid. Part of the reason why it's such a challenging domain for us is because there aren't internationally accepted norms and protocols, and that's something that we here in the Defense Department have been certainly arguing for.